Hello, YouTube. Today I'm going to talk about a book that I just found. I just found it just lying around. How creepy is that? Get ready, here it comes. All right, so today I want to talk about a book that I found in a little free library. And before we go on, I want to extol the virtues of the little free library. I think this is a great project. But if you don't know what it is, there are these little wooden boxes that are installed all around my neighborhood here in DC and in lots of other cities. And people just leave books that they're done reading and they're not going to read again in there. And other people can pick them up and read them and then leave up their own books. And it's a free book exchange program that I think is really cool. And anything that undermines the actual library makes me happy because I hate the actual library. For good reason. Don't ask why, but I have my reasons.
Her birth was payback for the sins of man. But you know, the worst thing about her?
She works for the library.
She works for the library.
But the little free libraries are great, and I leave books in them sometimes, and sometimes I take books from them that I find interesting. And the one I found the other day when I was going to buy Chinese food was Horrorstör. Look at that. Isn't that scary? It looks like an IKEA catalog, and for good reason. It's by Grady Hendrix, who I've never heard of. And this is a horror book that basically parodies these big box stores like IKEA, especially the Scandinavian ones. And it does it brilliantly. I think it's really fun. I read this in one day, by the way. It's about 250 pages, and I was interested in it, and I just plowed through it in one day. Thought it was a good story. The story is nothing like amazing. It's nothing terribly unique to horror books. If you read horror books, you read stories like this. But what made this really fun, I think, is just the whole parody aspect of it. And it really nails IKEA pretty good. So if you can see here, at the beginning of the chapters, they have these diagrams that look like an IKEA diagram there. And I'll read it to you. The text is spot on for these kind of stores. This says, Brooke, a sofa that's everything you ever dreamed a sofa could be. With memory foam cushions and a high back that delivers the support your neck deserves, Brooke is the relaxing beginning to the end of your day. Available in forest green, aubergine, cardinal, and night. That's like, I used to work at an IKEA as a stocker back when things weren't so good for me. And man, that nails them. And I think this is really funny. It's done throughout. And it becomes a little more creepy as it goes along. So like here, if you get to chapter 11, there's another one. A little more sinister looking, right? This says Bodavest. Boasting several advantages over traditional forms of restraint, Bodavest confines the penitent and opposes the agitated movement of blood toward the brain, forcing the subject into a state of total immobility, conducive to self-reflection and free of stressful outside stimuli, available in light oak and medium birch. So I think that kind of thing is really funny. It reminds me a little bit of, there's this website called the SCP Foundation, which stands for Secure, Control, and Protect. And it is a fake site of all these allegedly found objects that are creepy or horrifying in some way or just unusual. And there's all these little creepypasta stories about these various objects that were found. And there's a lot of really interesting ones on there. I think it's a great website. But this reminds me a little bit of that. I'm not quite sure why. It just does. It also reminds me a little of House of Leaves, if you've read that book by Mark Danielewski, I believe. It's got a little bit of that the large space being explored kind of feeling to it in there. So there's a lot going on here, but the main thing I like about it is just how thorough the author is in his kind of ridicule and parody of the IKEA model. And, I'd never heard of him before, never heard of this book, just saw it sitting in a little free library and thought, that looks like it might be fun. Picked it up, read it in one day, and lo and behold, it was fun. So I would recommend it if you, like me, think that IKEAs are silly and should be made fun of. Horrorstör, and I love the little umlaut over the O there. It's very clever. So that's what I read this week, and I'll be back tomorrow with something else. I don't know what I'm going to do tomorrow. I have to figure it out. But I'm going to do another video for you tomorrow. You'll see it. It'll be fun. Until next time, I've been Logan Albright. If you enjoy my reviews, you can check me out on Amazon.com, where I have books of my own for sale, and some of them are just as good as this one. You might like them. I'll see you next time. Have a good one.